Hi guys, so today we are doing another lipstick dupes video. I love dupes videos. I just think they are so much fun to watch. I love when people find formulas or shades or things that are similar at drugstore pricing that dupe high-end, super expensive products. It's just kind of one of my favorite things on YouTube. I don't know why. Hopefully you guys feel the same. I thought it would be fun to kind of take some of my other high-end lipsticks and find dupes for those inside my collection. And I have to admit, I think I found some really good ones here and some ones that I've not heard anybody talk about before. Let's keep this intro short and let's get into these dupes. Last year I watched so many of my favorite British vloggers here on YouTube. I'll link some of their channels below, but talk about the Clarins Instant Light Lip Perfectors. They said it was just the most amazingly comfortable light formula, easy everyday wear, not super pigmented, but super comfortable on your lips, really hydrating, just one of their go-to lip products. And so I broke down and got one of these last year and I love it. It's one of those products that has a cushion tip applicator. It goes onto your lips sheerly and provides just a light wash of color. It feels kind of like a hybrid between a lip oil and a lip gloss. I have the shade 07. I forget the name. I'll put it up here on the screen. And it's this really pretty, cool toned neutral shade. They have a lot of different shades in this line that range from sort of neutrals to some brighter colors as well. But I spotted a product on the Ulta website that looked, from a packaging perspective, just like the Clarins Lip Perfector, and that's from Catrice, and this is their Beautifying Lip Smoother. I have the shade 40 Coffee to Go, and while I don't think these are shade matches, I really think that from a look on your lips, as far as the hydration, as far as that kind of gloss lip oil hybrid, the sheer tint of the color, these are incredibly similar products. Having applied both of these formulas to my lips, I don't know as if I can tell a huge difference from a formula perspective. I will say that the Clarins product has the most amazing vanilla frosting smell of life. Like this it smells like you want to eat it. It's her really well done vanilla scent. It's really nice. The one from Catrice doesn't really have any scent whatsoever. That could be seen as a negative to some people, or it could be seen as a positive because not everybody likes their lip products to have a strong taste to them. I'd recommend trying the Catrice one first, seeing how you feel about it, and then if it's something you really do like, there's definitely a much larger shade range in the Clarins, and once again, I think the scent is a lot better, but to be honest, these guys are absolute dupes for one another. So one of my favorite lipsticks that I've splurged on is the Marc Jacobs lipstick in Slow Burn. Now, this is a lipstick that I ended up with like 2 different small like mini samples of. So I bit the bullet and bought the full sized. I think I got it the last Sephora sale because I love this color. So first of all, the Marc Jacobs packaging is absolutely gorgeous. Can we just appreciate that? I mean, it's got this magnetic closure that is just really satisfying. It feels nice and heavy in your hand. It feels like you would expect a luxury lipstick to feel. This color is so pretty. It is this beautiful cool toned nude. It's like if mauve and a nude lipstick had a baby, it would be this shade. Pigmentation on these is great. I would say his lipstick formula is just like your classic cream lipstick. It's not super mattifying, but it's also not super glossy. It's just right there in the middle, really comfortable on your lips, but has really good pigmentation, so it has really good staying power as well. A shade that turns out to be really similar is also incredibly affordable and was in my Best of Beauty Awards this year. This is from Essence, and this is the shade Cool Nude. This is part of their Longlasting lip line. I loved this shade last year, and now I know why. The biggest difference between the two of these is that this one is a lot glossier. You can see here in the swatches, the shade Cool Nude from Essence is definitely picking up a lot more light. It's a lot more glossy. I would say this one is also a little bit more lightweight. So whereas the Marc Jacobs lipstick is full pigmentation, full cream. You feel that creaminess on your lips. This one feels a little bit more lightweight, and the pigmentation is a little bit more lightweight. So it's when you're going to probably swipe across your lips a couple of times to build up that full opacity. But I don't always mind that because sometimes I like just a sheer wash of color that's going to be a little glossy and give a tint to my lips, and a single swipe of this gets me there. Now, I will say, because this is glossier and it's a little bit more lightweight, it's definitely not as long lasting as the Marc Jacobs one on my lips. So from a formula perspective, you're going to do a lot more touch-ups with this, but these, mwah, Such good match. Talked about the Marc Jacobs Slow Burn lipstick. He also put out a liquid lipstick line last year. Fairly small range of shades, but he released Slow Burn in this format. This is his La Marque Liquid Lip Cream, and these are very similar to the ColourPop Ultra Satins. So they're incredibly pigmented. They're going to dry down and give you sort of a soft demi-matte look. They're going to be incredibly long lasting, but they're not going to be 100% transfer proof. They are incredibly comfortable though, so that is the trade-off. These never feel like a drying liquid lipstick on your lips, and they last a really long time. So I do like this formula. Like I said, he didn't come out with a zillion shades, so there's not like a range of shades that I'm like stampeding to go out and get, but I love Slow Burn so much that I freaking bought it in this format too. So all right, here we go. So maybe not so surprising that the dupe I'm going to give you is from ColourPop, and it is one of their Ultra Satins. This is in the shade Dopey. Now, I love the Ultra Satin format from ColourPop. I do not care for their matte one. It's way, way, way too drying for me. The Ultra Satin, though, is everything I just described for the Marc Jacobs. Highly pigmented, lasts a long time, isn't going to fade on your lips easily, is going to last through a lot of meals, but is not going to be 100% transfer proof. I think this is close. Do I think this is the 100% shade match that the Essence was for the lipstick? No, but I think it's pretty darn close. The shade Dopey has the same depth to it, but I think it's even maybe a smidge more cool tone. So I think it's got a little bit more of those purpley undertones than the Marc Jacobs one. I also think that they're so close that I couldn't not mention this one. So if you've been interested in the Marc Jacobs La Marque Lip Cream, just know that this formula is the ColourPop Ultra Satin. It really is like so similar, it's not even funny. And then if you want to try something that's very, very similar to Slow Burn in a format like this, grab the shade Dopey. I think you're really gonna like it. All right, so next up is a MAC lipstick dupe. And I know there have been a lot of dupe videos for MAC lipsticks out there. You can look on Pinterest for MAC lipstick dupes and come up with so many different dupes. But one that I wanted to dupe for you guys is a shade Mmmmmm. So it's like 6Ms, I think is how it is. Yeah, 6Ms. So this is an amplified lipstick that came out with the Nicki Minaj collection. This is the shade that was completely sold out everywhere. It was sold out at every MAC store, every MAC counter that I checked. I ended up having to order it online. I think I found this one at Ulta ultimately. This is still available for purchase now, but right now it is still being shown as a limited edition product. But I wanted to get it because similar to Slow Burn, it's one of those sort of pinky nudes that has some mauve into it. But unlike the Marc Jacobs shade in Slow Burn, this one is a little less cool toned and a little bit more neutral. So the closest lipstick shade that I could dupe to this is actually one of the NYX matte lipsticks. This is in the shade Whipped Caviar. I will say this one leans a little bit more pink and a little less nude. Not even necessarily mauve, but a little bit more pinky undertones. But it's pretty similar, and I think it gets you kind of into that range at a really affordable price point. Now, I have found a 100% shade match, but it's in a different format. So this is one of the Ultra Satin lipsticks from ColourPop. This is in the shade Alyssa. This is one of the ones that Kathleen Lights launched with them. And this shade is exactly the same as the MAC lipstick. I will say it might be a little bit more pigmented because the MAC lipstick is in their amplified format, which has a decent pigmentation but has a lot more shine to it. Very comfortable, maybe not the most long-lasting formula. Being an Ultra Satin like this is going to have probably more intense pigmentation and is going to be a lot more long-lasting, but the undertone on these two is so similar. So if MAC ends up not keeping this, if you don't want to spend the money and grab a MAC lipstick, or you're looking for a cruelty-free option, I highly recommend picking up Alyssa from ColourPop. And then if you don't mind something that is similar but maybe a little pinkier, Whipped Caviar from NYX isn't going to disappoint you either. All right, so my next dupe is for a Tarte product, and I think it is a match in both in terms of formula as well as shade. So this is the Tarte Lip Sculptor in the shade Voltage. It comes with a gloss on one end and a lipstick on the other. You're getting slightly less lipstick and gloss in this format than you would if you bought full-size products of pretty much any other lipstick or gloss, drugstore or high-end, but it does come in this cute little combo packaging here. I like both the gloss and the lipstick. The dupe that I found is actually from Revlon, is one of their super lustrous lipsticks. This is in the shade Pink in the Afternoon. This formula feels exactly the same as the Tarte one. It's that creamy, slightly glossy finish, packs really good pigmentation, incredibly comfortable on the lips. It's this really nice sort of muted pink color that if you think you can't wear pink lipstick or pink lipstick looks bad on you, I encourage you to try a shade like this because it's a lot more flattering than I think a lot of people give it credit. So while I do love this kind of lipstick lip gloss duo in here, I definitely think that if you like that shade, don't want to drop the money for a Tarte lip sculptor, Pink in the Afternoon from Revlon is a really great color, and the consistency of this lipstick is every bit as nice as so many high-end lipsticks out there. So my next dupe is for a NARS Audacious lipstick in the shade Apoline. I believe this is one of their more popular colors, maybe not as popular as Anita, but definitely one of their top sellers. So once again, it's a nude. It is definitely on the pinkier side of nudes though. It's a mid-tone. I think it is an absolutely stunning shade. I've really enjoyed this. So I will say the NARS Audacious formula is lovely, but it's not my favorite sort of higher end lipstick formula out there. So I've not really collected a ton of these. I know there's a lot of people who are obsessed with this formula and have collected tons and tons of shades. This is actually my only one. I found a shade match that's almost 100% from ColourPop. This is the shade Faded. This is one of their Lippie sticks in a cream formula. And I realized as I went through my collection that this is a really close shade match to Apoline from NARS. The biggest difference here is that this one is maybe a tinge deeper and it's a lot more glossy. But to be honest, this is such a comfortable lip formula. With some of these dupes, I'm going to donate the dupe because I don't feel like I need to have both in my collection. With these two, I'm going to keep both of them just because I like the shade a lot and I really like that I've got a more sort of natural satin finish and then more of a high shine finish in the ColourPop one. Okay, so last year when I was in Las Vegas with a friend and we were shopping in Sephora, I broke down and got myself one of these uber luxy, looks like an old cigarette kind of holder, Hourglass lipsticks. Gosh, I can't even remember what these are called. I'm gonna have to put them up here on the screen. So basically you end up with this very pretty gold metal case, and then you can do replacements of lipsticks or swap out colors very easily. It's super luxe, it's super pretty. You could kill someone with it. I ended up getting the shade I Want, which is a very neutral, kind of warm brownish nude. I realized that a lot of my nudes were leaning very pink or very mauve or very apricot-y, and I was trying to find a shade that would lean a little bit more brown that would still be flattering on my skin tone. This definitely does this. So this formula is super pigmented. Like you can tell you're paying for a very high-end pigmented lipstick. It feels luxurious, not just because of this packaging, but because of the creaminess and the saturated color as it goes on your lips in just one swipe. I mean, it's a beautiful product, but it's obnoxiously expensive. It's expensive from a retail perspective, and it's expensive from a price per ounce perspective because you don't get a ton of product in this little top. Like it's super bougie. Like it's hard to justify paying full price for one of these. From a color perspective, and I don't think this is a formula dupe, but I think it is a color dupe hands down. I have to recommend once again one of these little Wet n Wild lipsticks. This is in the shade Bare It All. I think this is one of the more popular shades that they've put out. Once again, I'm going to whine and pitch a fit about how dirty these lipsticks get because you can't get the bullet all the way down into the lipstick, and so I always end up clipping the cap against the lipstick as I put it on, and it ends up super messy. So really hate that about this. But as you can see from the shade here, it is exactly the same as my Hourglass lipstick. So honestly, if you're looking for a brownie nude and you want to try something that is still flattering on fair skin tones rather that lean a little more cool toned, I really like this color. I like how it looks on my lips. I can't recommend buying these. I mean, listen, moment of weakness, I bought it. Do I feel super fancy every time I use it? Sure. Can I sit here and recommend you guys going out and buying this because the formula is worth it and the packaging is worth it? It's really not. It's just not. But this shade from Wet n Wild is just exactly the same. Like, it really is. You do not need to go get this. Just go try this if you've been looking for a brownie nude that I think is still flattering on paler skin tones. Let's stick in that brown family and just go a couple shades deeper. So this is an Urban Decay Vice lipstick. This is in the shade 1993. When they redid their lipsticks and launched the Vice line, this shade 1993 was always sold out. And it was partly because I think those sort of grungy brown lips were becoming really, really popular when this launched. But you could not find this shade to save your life. It was always out of stock. I remember talking to some people at Ulta and Sephora, and they're like, yeah, every time we get, 3, 4, 5 of these in, they sell out within a day. So I will say, having used this, I don't think this is my favorite brown lipstick that I own, but I definitely can pull it off, and that is not something I can say about many brown lipsticks. For some reason, brown lipsticks on pale skin with a slightly pinky undertone just looks like you've smeared chocolate all over your face. I don't know, it's just not always a flattering look. This is a shade that I can wear, however. The dupe that I have is from e.l.f., and it is one of their matte sort of lippy sticks. This is in the shade Praline. I really like this formula from e.l.f. I think that it is a very comfortable matte. I've always been a fan of these sort of skinnier pencil lipsticks because I think they're super easy to apply. And Praline is exactly the same color as 1993, like to the point that I sometimes wonder, did e.l.f. look at like really popular shades from Urban Decay and then just go, oh, well, let's just make 1993 into our format. If you've been interested in trying a true brown, if you've been interested in 1993, pick up Praline from e.l.f. I like it every bit as much as I like the 1993 shade from Urban Decay. So I have one other MAC lipstick dupe I wanted to call out, and I think this shade has been duped a lot of different times online, and this is the shade Mmmmmm from MAC. It's a very popular color. This is part of their matte line. It is a stunning mauve. Like, it is just the most beautiful mauve lipstick that isn't too purpley, that has enough pink in it so that it doesn't read super, super cool toned. It's a really popular shade. The dupe that I have to share with you guys is not one that I have seen online before, and I think the color is a really close dupe, but the finish is different, and that is one of the NYX Butter lipsticks. This is in the shade Root Beer Float, and if you're not familiar with the Butter lipstick, it's a very glossy formula that is a little bit more sheer, but can be built up to decent pigmentation if you just kind of swipe it a few times. Root Beer Float is absolutely similar to Mmmmmm. It is Mmmmmm's glossier, more comfortable sister. So if you're like me, I don't always want a super saturated, really intensely pigmented lipstick. Sometimes I like something that's a little bit more lightweight, a little glossier, a little easier to just apply even without a mirror, something that's just really comfortable, that's going to give my lips a really pretty color, but isn't necessarily going to feel like I'm wearing anything heavy. And that's where the NYX Butter Glosses and Butter lipsticks really deliver for me. It's like they turned Mmmmmm, which is a matte lipstick, into a cream sheen lipstick. Root Beer Float from NYX and their Butter lipstick formula is going to be a cream sheen formula of the matte lipstick Mmmmmm. All right, so my 10th and final lipstick dupe is the one that I might be the most excited about because I think it dupes not only the color, but the formula as well. And I have been so excited by this dupe formula that I have purchased a ton of them in different shades. The shade that we're duping and the formula is one of the Bite Amuse Bouche lipsticks. So this is in the shade Meringue. It is a light nude. It's a very neutral nude. So it's not too pink, it's not too warm, it's not too brown. It's just very, very neutral. Now I love this Amuse Bouche formula. It might be my favorite high-end formula out there. It smells like freaking pink lemonade. The new formula at the drugstore that I am so excited about is from Flower Beauty. These are their Petal Pout lip colors. They have a satin and a matte formula in a lot of really great shades, but the shade Naked Blush is exactly the same color as the Bite Meringue lipstick. And then on top of that, this formula of lipstick is so pigmented and creamy and one swipe, but the color on this is so similar to this one. I can't get over it. So if you have been curious about the shade Meringue, I think it is one of Bite's more popular lipsticks. This is going to be, I don't know, like a third of the price and is going to give you the same pigmentation, the same creaminess, the same longevity, the same smoothness across the lips. it's gonna blow your mind. It really will. So highly recommend checking out not only Naked Blush from them, but in particular, just the whole line of products from Flower. I'm just really excited. Can you tell? All right, guys, so that wraps up my 10 high-end lipstick dupes that I've been able to find for you all. Hopefully I have introduced you guys to some new dupes that maybe you have not seen before. Let me know down in the comments below if you go and pick any of these up and try them. I would love to know your thoughts. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.